Okay, 16 and 17 will be done in a similar way. They want an exponential model given 2 points. Okay, so there are these 2 points that exist. One is 12, 256, and the other one is 13, 302. Does everybody agree that these x's are consecutive? Meaning one is right after the other, yes? Okay. So what we want to do is we want to think about how this graph would be growing. Not if it was linear. If it was linear, how would you find the change? What would that be called? That'd be called the slope. But we want an exponential model, so that means we want to know what kind of curve might fit in between these points. That's what exponential growth might look like. So instead of doing the change in y divided by the change in x to get slope, we're going to see what 302 divided by 256 is. In other words, we're going to see what the growth factor is. We're going to see what you're multiplying by. Does it make sense that in order to see what something is multiplying by, you divide? Work backwards, right? Like if I had 5 and then 15, what did I multiply 5 by? 3. That's 15 divided by 5, right? So what do you get when you divide 302 by 256? 1.18? So 1.18, that's our b. Okay? So in our exponential model, ab to the x, I now know that the growth factor is 1.18. Okay? Now we're getting there. What I still don't know is my a. Well, a is the y value way back when what? Yes, it's the y-intercept. So if we think about it, things are starting to disappear here. If we think about my graph, a would be the y value how many x's ago? 12. So where do you go on the x-axis to go backwards 12? Think about that for a minute. Like which way on the x-axis is backwards, positive or negative? To go backwards in time, you go negative. So here's what we didn't have to do on the green sheet when we practiced this. This is just a little wrinkle here to figure out what a is. Take this y value, okay, put it in for a. But for x, I want you to go backwards 12. So what would x have to be to go backwards 12? Negative 12. See what you get when you do 256 times 1.18 to the negative 12th. And I'll re-explain it in a minute. Okay, quit. 256 times 1.18 to the negative 12th. We're taking exponential growth and we're throwing it into reverse. It's like a little back to the future. We're going back to see what a was 12 x's ago. I hope that makes sense. And look, you get 35.1. When I drew that disappearing x and y axis, guess where it would have hit the y axis right here? At 35.1. So that's your a. So when they say write an exponential model, it's y equals 35.1 times 1.18 to the x. You would do 17 in a similar way, but instead of putting in negative 12, you put in negative 3 to go back 3 years. I always imagine that it's time for x with exponential growth.